Take a second. I'll tell you when it's on.
That's good.
Yeah. If you want, I can tag you on it. Want me to tag you on it?
Yeah, that's great. That would be great.
Let me see if that'll work.
So then it's
It
just,
might not work. Let me see if it works. Let's see. Oh, so they're not here yet, but everything is on the replay. Yeah. So anything you say right now, they'll see on the replay.
Oh, that's fine. That's okay.
All right. Let me see if I can tag. It's on my page, but let me see if I can just tag it real quick. Hey. Yeah. Let me do it. Yeah, I tagged you.
Great. Yeah.
So they had this for 7:00.
Yeah, the ad said 7. So, but things are never for nothing.
Actually, the ad says 7, doesn't it? No, I don't know why that happened. Oh well, that's the way it goes. Doesn't matter.
Practice. That's a good practice.
So you're in Amsterdam.
No, I'm in Holland.
You're in Holland.
Yeah.
You're not in Holland. Amsterdam. Well, Holland's a cool place, though, isn't it?
Yeah.
I mean, you think of let's see how many people are here. Let me see. Okay, we got 16 people in this one. I don't know how many are on the other ones, but so right on. Djoeke.
Yeah.
Djoeke.
It's a very typical Dutch name.
No, I like it. Djoeke.
Yeah, me too.
She says if you have trouble with it, just think of Dukes of Hazzard. So Djoeke, but it's really Djoeke.
Djoeke. Yeah.
Djoeke. Yeah. So it's DJ, but the J you said the D and the J, right?
Yeah.
Djoeke. Yeah, I was watching a movie last night. They were speaking German.
Oh wow. Yeah.
Yeah. It's interesting. All those. I also watched this video last night. It was about the Scandinavian countries and the forest and all the different wow, it's a beautiful place, powerful place. So yeah,
I'm in the middle of the forest, so it's different than Scandinavia, but yeah, I'm in the middle of the forest.
Are there any fairies out there? Have you seen any fairies? Have you?
I've seen a lot of fairies here. Yeah.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
So
yeah. I felt them. I'm not going to say I felt them.
Yeah, you feel them?
Yeah, I felt them.
Yeah, I have a forest in my backyard, and I've seen some things there. But lately I've been like not feeling them or seeing them. I've been hearing them. Okay, wow. Yeah, I've been hearing the elementals. Wow. So I'm like, okay, I'm supposed to go out there and really look for them, so I think I'm gonna start doing that. So
do you know what they say? What do they say? Like or
no. I've always had this thing with fairies. Well, the first time I saw them was here in this town. It was the first time I ever came to this town where I live now. And I went to a swimming hole one night, like midnight on a full moon, and the mountains are above you, and there's this freshwater swimming hole. And I went out there, and all this stuff happened, all this wild stuff happened, and I jumped in the water, and I could hear them all. They were just everywhere in the water. Fairy, what do you call them? Nymphs, water nymphs, and fairies on the bank, and they were green, and they were like this big. They were little bitty things. And I told my friend, I said, "You see that?" She's like, "Yeah, yeah." But yeah, that's they awesome. Giggle. They giggle. They laugh.
I can imagine that.
And they're very playful. Yeah. And I felt like I knew them all. There was like 1 million of them. I said, "I know every one of you." Like, so I know we were messaging for a while, and then I said to you, "Hey, why don't you come on the show with me?" And you're like, "No, I can't go on the show." But yeah, here we are. So
here we are here.
Yeah. So are you from Holland?
Yes, I am.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I know it, I've never been there, not in this life. And it just seems like it's very progressive, very open, You know, I mean, I obviously most of my impression of Holland is from Amsterdam.
Yeah.
And, you know, it's obviously pretty liberal, which is cool with me, you know, I mean, but somebody I was talking to just not too long ago, I can't remember who it was. It was one of my friends from Amsterdam. They were saying that it's kind of getting restricted there with the whole pandemic and everything.
It's really super interesting because, well, I don't really watch the news about the pandemic, but I sometimes see like news updates on Facebook. And it was very interesting that I'm speaking to you right now, and also that we had this misunderstanding about 7 o'clock, because today at 7 o'clock there was like a press conference of our government about the pandemic and maybe new regulations. And I can't tell too much about it because I really don't follow. But what I got was that there probably that they were intending on putting some restrictions on non-vaccinated people. So
yeah, that's what they're trying to. That's what's being tried everywhere.
Yeah,
I gotta say, I received a warning from Facebook last night, and I've gotten a lot of warnings from them before, but I never got one like this. And I don't know. I know we talked about COVID yesterday. I did on the show, but we never really come out hard against it or anything. I mean, but I don't know. I'm not really sure. I'm not afraid of it. I'm not worried about it. I mean, if they take us off, then we'll just find another way to do it. But that was kind of strange. But everything's kind of strange right now. So what's your story? How did you end up living in the forest with the fairies?
Yeah, that's a good question. Well, the first thing that I wanted to say was, and then I'm getting to the story, I guess. So I think my first video of you that I watched was when you were walking on the streets. I think it's 3 or 4 years ago.
That was a long time ago.
yeah. And and this also came together with some things that I went through in that period. So it has pretty much helped me to keep the big picture instead of the smaller picture. So let's see where I'm going to start.
That's pretty cool. You know, yes. I got a message from a lady the other day, and I've seen her name for like years. Well, I've seen your name for a long time too. I remember your name because I remember the names and the pictures over the years. But she said to me, she said, I've been watching you since you were doing the videos on the street. And she said, I thought you were crazy. She said, I thought you were crazy. And she said, but I kept listening to you. And what did she say? She said something like, you know, I guess she was going crazy too, you know. And she said,
I was not,
she said, then, you know, watching you, I knew I wasn't alone or something like that. That's pretty funny. It's pretty cool.
Yeah. So it's interesting because when you say the word crazy, so that's a bit like, well, crazy is not my journey, but so where do I start? So I've started psychology and I work as a psychologist as well. Yeah. And that had to do with some things in my family that I started to find also fascinating, and I wanted to dive deeper into it. And then I think in 2014, I had a first burnout, and I had a little period of it was a burnout, and it was an awakening as well. So it felt like an awakening as well. And I've been searching back then for a place where I could go to stay and to like be held and to work through this situation. And then I went to like what do you call it, like do you? I'm not sure if that's an English word. Do you know anthroposophy, Rudolf Steiner?
Rudolf Steiner, yes.
Yeah. So there was this very, very good place in the Netherlands, also in the forest, where it was psychiatry, but they also they worked from the understanding of people having a soul, and yeah, and different modalities.
Is this
They
Rudolf Steiner's organization?
No, it's not. It's not directly from him. But it's yeah. It's so anthroposophy is like that's what he. I think that he's like the biggest thinker, or
Yeah,
the
yeah,
one who
yeah,
started that
yeah. That
stroming.
was
I'm not
his.
sure
Yeah.
what the word is. Yeah, but maybe so. So I've been there, and then I have got my. So and that was the first time in this life, I guess, because when I was younger, I was pretty much in contact still with like having healing hands and wanting to be a how do you call a woman with a glass bowl who looks into the future?
Gypsy,
Yeah,
a fortune teller.
I
So
live in
what?
a gypsy gypsy place right now, which is
Really?
so very nice. Yeah,
So when you were young,
yeah,
what was with your hands? Were you healing people, or you
yeah.
wanted to?
My mother sometimes. So when I did that, my mother told me that she could feel that. So
Mm.
and I was watching a lot of. We had this television program on TV where Uri Geller came to bound to he with
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. You
bend
had been
spoons and stuff,
Spoons, Uri
and they
Geller. Yeah.
yeah, and they would also show footage of ghosts, and I was like a child, I was really like I wanted to see it, and I was so fucking scared of it as well, you know. It's it's really this double thing, but yeah, that was something that was important for me back then.
Wow.
And then I guess when I grew older, it went to the background, and some things happened in my family that were pretty intense, and I moved a bit up to my head, and I was good at studying. So I remember that one time I really just made a decision, okay, fuck, I'm not going to feel this. I'm just going to study now, you know, like
Yeah, yeah.
something like that. But like in 2014, things collapsed, and that was the time again, because what happened was that I dissociated.
Right.
So I couldn't feel my body anymore, and that was a very intense experience. And at the same time, that was the moment that I understood that I had a soul, because I wasn't in my body. So I must have a soul, you know. So
So you had some family stuff going on that was very intense. You went into your mind. So actually, you went into your mind and studied, but you actually left your body, is what you're saying.
no, no, I'm not explaining this in the right way. No,
No, you're
I'm
doing
explaining
good. You're doing
it
good.
simple.
But I mean,
Yeah, yeah.
were you okay? So you were in your mind, but were you like having any experiences, like third eye experiences or that type
Um,
of?
yeah, no, I was so I remember that I went a bit in my mind, so I went a bit out of that, like you know, it was more a phase that I went more a bit into the rational, I guess. Well, I was still emotional as well, but that I didn't mean that. That wasn't the point where I dissociated, but that
Hmm.
was more a bit like moving away from this natural sensitivity in a way.
Hmm.
Mm, and where I dissociated that was after some trauma work, but also after just after having yeah all kinds of different spiritual experiences in that time.
2014.
That was 2014, yeah. um, and um, and I also remember that I decided then in this whole process with this that school at Rudolf Steiner place that I felt, okay, to be stable I need to like not go up here all the time. I also need to be, you know, in my body, and it will, yeah, that I put it a bit back, which was okay. And then so it's it's a long
It's
story.
okay. You're doing
Yeah,
great.
yeah.
What were you doing when you went up here? What were you doing? Like,
What was I
because
doing?
I've heard, you know, a lot of people come on here, they talk about disassociation.
Yeah,
And like a lot of them are traumas, like, you know,
yeah,
they were repeatedly sexually assaulted.
yeah.
They would leave, you know, they would, I guess the soul goes out And that's how they start to develop this relationship with infinite intelligence. Were you like fantasizing? Were you meditating, or just being alone and not functioning with the world, or what?
No, I've been meditating a lot back then. So because it's also for me going back in time, but I also started meditating at a Buddhist center back then, and a lot of like, that just worked very well for me. But I'm not. It's hard because I feel like it's been a while ago. So to precisely, I know that I was in this session, like in an EMDR. I gifted myself as well, but a session, and that I was asked to go to a certain spot that was very painful. But I was also so super sensitive because I remember that I asked the woman who did that at that moment. I asked her to, like, there was this sound, like from a speaker or something. I was telling her, "Can you please put that softer?" And she couldn't even hear it. So that was the thing. My senses were just full on. I could hear the people beneath me. I could feel the cars in the streets, stuff like that.
Wow.
And yeah, that was what was happening. And the whole thing, because I also felt pretty powerful and pretty connected to nature, but there were some practical situations also around my work that were like asking for my attention, whilst I also felt that my inner process was the most important, but I didn't have the means to, or I didn't communicate that in the right way. So it's a bit like, yeah, but it was so, and let me see.
You're good.
Yeah, no, I feel
you're good. You're with all the crazy people, so you can say whatever you want to.
Yeah, it's true.
Where all the crazy people are. Yeah. You're talking to the guy that was walking down the street homeless doing videos.
Yeah, that's true.
So
yeah, that's true. Yeah.
So, but don't forget about that. Forget about all that. What's going on today?
Yeah, it's more interesting, right?
What's going on today with you?
Yeah.
Are you still like? Are you in a small town?
Right now I'm in a very small town. So I'm in. Yes, I don't know. I don't know how big it is, but it is.
Do you spend a lot of time alone?
Yeah. I'm really in a forest. I'm in a little holiday home, and I have clients, so I do a lot of like online sessions.
Okay.
And that works pretty good. I still have to be careful with managing my energy, because when I'm in like a supermarket or something and people are like coming through here and there, I just feel a lot in those situations.
Yeah, super empath.
Yeah, just a super empath. Yes, that's true. And in my work, it's great if I learned a lot there too. So by staying here and whatever, a lot of things that I learned. But
so
yes.
So the online sessions, are they psychotherapy? Are they more like energy practitioner, or both?
Yeah, both. Yeah.
Both.
So so the people that I see, they are obviously, a lot of them are very sensitive, and
are they struggling?
Yeah.
Are they struggling with like just being able to go out and be around people, or is it
sometimes, but it can be a lot of different things. So it can be people that have anxiety, or they have depressions, or there was some trauma, or they have addiction. So it's and I get a lot of really nice people. So I really get people, and it's very beautiful to be able to connect in that way, I feel. So and I do so I think part of it is really what you do, like holding space, being there, being open, having someone share. And then a lot of times, for example, I would ask them to close their eyes, and I would close my eyes as well. And then we would tune in to like, okay, where do you feel that in your body? And, okay, can you go into that feeling? And can you open it up? And then can you go deeper? And can you open it up? And that's sometimes where people can release certain things.
Energy work.
Yeah, it's energy work.
Energy
I'm
work.
I'm still in the medical system, and I'm not sure for how long I will stay there. But
as a practitioner, you're still in the medical system.
Yeah.
So you actually do both. You do some clients from the medical system and some from the crazy community.
Oh, I'm sorry. No. You're going crazy. It's funny that you're saying that, because I feel that there's still a bit of a load, like a bit like, but it's also like a bit of a charge. But I know it's part of my journey to like, it's part of my journey too, you know, like.
I mean, there's a lot of people in this community that have been in the psych ward.
I know. Yes, and this
or
or
in jail, or both.
Yeah, I know.
I mean, I talked to a friend of mine yesterday. His partner went into the psych ward 2 days ago.
Yeah.
And she may not get out for 30 days. I mean,
yeah,
you know, there's a lot of that.
So I've been back there, and that was so I've been back. So I've been working with a shaman for like 1.5 years, and some crazy shit happened there. It was good. So I feel like it was good as well. So I learned a lot, but in some way it also took me out of my own center, which probably is part of my journey. But so I went back into a psych ward, but this time not from free will, and this was really challenging.
This is what happened to my friend's partner yesterday. It wasn't
really, it's real. And I told them that so they came, and I know that I know these things are very nuanced, and it has a lot of layers. And I also understand that people that were close to me, that some did, that some couldn't really relate to me very well anymore, and that I was trauma triggered. And at the same time, I just had I really had a lot of synchronistic experiences. I was just like journeying all the time, you know, through situations, and it just makes a lot. It made a lot of sense to me, and I was also shown different routes. So I know that the whole thing was continuously about, okay, this is your option. What are you going to choose? Love or fear? And then I would pick the wrong one, and then I would fall a bit deeper, you know, and this was really, and and some parts are a bit crazy, and some are, it was also, crazy. It's a bit strange, but I don't think I would have wanted to miss it. But anyways, there was this moment that people had called the like emergency psychiatric people that were also my colleagues. They were not my direct colleagues, but they were like, and they came up, and then they asked me if I wanted to go. And this was continuously also about informed consent. So were a lot of times where I had a choice, and I felt that so I told them no, because I don't want to go. So they told me, you can just go and walk down the stairs, or we're gonna handcuff you. So then they handcuffed me, and they put me in this ambulance, in this bed, and it was just I'm still a bit like, is this real? You know, it was so like surreal in a way too. So it was just, and that was something that what you asked, and something that I discussed more often. I've seen in those both terms that I was in these, so also this little Steiner place and the other place later on, I've seen so many people that were, you know, talking about power animals, or about the pyramids and the stars, and, you know, such a lot of experiences that were, and I'm not going to say, because I don't believe in I feel it's very important to be very nuanced, because it's not that like psychiatry is bad. That's not true. But there are some caretakers that believe in that it's just a psychosis, and it's just not true.
Yeah.
And what happens there is that people get even more confused, I guess, because the one thing that I learned here, and that's something, and I almost get tingles, but that's something that I find one of the most important things, is that just you have to respect another's experience.
Yeah,
It's not
exactly.
yours, it's not
Exactly.
yours. Just get out of there.
It's exactly right. Have you ever seen Pamela Johnson on the show with me? Pamela
Maybe,
Johnson, she's kind of quiet. She lives in Mexico.
Right.
She's an American, lives in Mexico. And she's been awake a long time, like since the harmonic convergence in 1987. So I think in 1991, they put her in a psych ward. And she went into the psych ward, because for 3 or 4 years, she's been receiving all this information.
Yeah.
And she goes into the psych ward and she meets 6 people in the psych ward who all tell her the same thing that she's going through, contact with ETs and just different galactic memories. And she realized at that point, she wasn't crazy. It must be difficult. I had a family member very close to me that since transitioned that was designated as mentally afflicted, with schizophrenia and kind of a chronic depression and bipolar.
Yeah.
And so living with this person for 10 years, it became very obvious to me that her reality was very real. And it also became obvious to me that it wasn't just real to her. There were things that were real that I couldn't see that she could.
Yeah.
And then later on, I went into when I was first waking up, I was in the system, and I had to go to a 90-day drug rehab, drug and alcohol rehab, on site where you couldn't leave.
Yeah.
And I bet about a third of the people I met there, a third of the men, they were in the mental health system. And I talked to many of them and they could see to the other side.
Yeah.
And it's that simple, So my question is, so you work both as a practitioner and you've been on the other side too. With these energies that are expanding every day, I mean, are these people becoming more comfortable with who they are? Or are they getting more confused?
Which people?
Well, like people that can see onto the other side, people that, people that the humans call crazy, but they're not crazy. They're just seeing other dimensions, right?
Yeah. I'm gonna answer your question, but it's really funny because you have a dragon mask there or not?
Yes.
Okay, wait a second. Okay.
Okay. She's probably got the same one. Denise Chadwick gave that to me. Oh, yours is cool. Yours is blue. That's the same one I have.
It's funny.
Denise Chadwick gave that to me.
Sorry? Denise
Chadwick? Denise Chadwick.
It's really awesome because I'm doing the Dragonscape with Susanna Mara, but I brought this from home yesterday, so it's only been here for like a day or something.
Wow.
So it's
See,
really
there's your synchronicities.
I was just seeing it. Yeah, thank you. But I don't know. I can't answer that question. I can only tell you what I see and what I experience with people I work with, and I would say that I would say that a lot of people, or the people I see, and I can't even generalize that, but they are just very sensitive, and they are sensitive of certain energies in their space as well, which they forgot that they are sensitive of. So, and there's trauma as well sometimes, and there's also sometimes this not being in the body completely. And
how can somebody learn to live with that? You know, being very, very overly sensitive and you know, detecting energies that they're not comfortable with, and all the things that go with it. How do you function? How does somebody function?
yeah, well, I think that certain things, but I'm not completely there yet myself, I would say. But I
Nobody
think
is.
no, yeah. But what I've learned, what's things that are good for me is one thing is processing. So when a lot of things happen, and there's not enough time to process that emotionally, then I get a bit like full or something. So keeping it clear from the inside, that's super important. So speaking it out, writing it down, you know, what's happening inside. Just I think that's very important. And further on, yeah, I've learned those techniques of grounding yourself, cleaning your energy field. I'm right now I'm also working, I'm also eating better, so I'm eating less of certain foods and stuff. For me, walking in nature is just like, it's just, yeah, it's just, that's just fantastic. I just, that's when I walk for an hour. Sometimes I can, when I wake up and I feel a bit low and I go walking in the forest, it's just, after an hour it can feel very different. So
Do
yeah.
you I mean, everybody's different, and there's no right answer, there's no wrong answer. And I think that's part of what you're saying,
Yeah.
you know, to respect everybody's reality. But I'm
Yeah.
just curious, do you have, like, some people talk about they have guides, or they have angels, or they have galactic family, or they have elemental
Yeah.
beings that they, or energies that they communicate with? Do you feel like do you have support? Do you feel like that, or do you have any type of communication in your own way?
Lately it has become less. So when I first came to live here, it was very intense, but it was more like elemental energies that I felt in the forest, for example. And I have, when I have experienced guided journeys with people, then I experience a lot of things and helpers and stuff. And I know that when I connect to it, I'm looking up that there, yeah, that there can be a connection. Yeah, but no, it's not always there. It's not. It's sometimes I feel it strongly, but it's not something that I work with all the time. And it's interesting because on some level, I don't know what it is. I would sometimes wonder if this is a bit of resistance inside of me, but I'm not sure. It's just
Resistance is a big word.
Mm.
I
Yeah,
think
it's
that's
true.
I think that's a
Yeah,
big word now,
yeah,
because
that's true.
I do
Thank you.
think that I do think that there's something about what we're creating or stepping into that you can't have any resistance at all, not to
Mm,
anything,
no, I know.
you know. And it's kind of weird.
Yeah, I know, but I also noticed the inner struggle with these things for
Yeah,
myself,
yeah,
and that is also has also been part of these periods in which I felt less. So it's also been inner um,
yeah,
yeah, inner struggles, just
yeah. It's
inner
like the big me and the little me. That's what I call it.
yeah,
The
for
big me and the
example.
little me.
Yeah.
So you get a lot of grounding and balancing by walking in the forest.
Hmm. And I also feel that the vibration of nature is just feels really natural. So it feels like you get into this good.
Do you hear, like, you know, when I'm out there, like, so I'm right next to one, so I keep the windows open, and but there'll be certain times that the entire nature, you know, the trees, the plants, the wind, the animals, the birds, they make like this one sound, like they just turn on.
Mm.
And whenever it happens, now when it happens, I just catch it. I go, wow. And I just sit there and listen to it.
I feel
It's
this very
almost,
deeply.
yeah, it's almost like they're talking to me to, hey,
Mm.
chill out, brother, relax.
Mm.
Everything's all right, you know? It's weird. Do you ever hear that?
I very much, I feel very connected to trees. So I really
Hmm.
feel when I walk outside that that like a gush of wind is like, and then
Yeah.
I don't know. I really feel that as communication.
Yeah.
And so that's what I feel. And yes, birds too, and insects, and it's just you have this. It's so beautiful. You have this really big place, like a sand dune. It is.
Hmm.
And also sometimes I have these ideas because when you go there at night, it's like this sand dune, and there's the forest around it, and then there's the sky. So sometimes it feels like being on another planet. You know, it just feels like yeah, you could easily be on another planet. And I have been feeling, I have there, yeah. So I have been feeling. I think yeah. So at some point that there were UFOs in the clouds above there, and then I also got some guidance, but I got good guidance, but also a bit of nasty guidance because I was looking for a home back then, and I was walking back, and they showed me that there was an old woman living there, and that I could just kill her if I wanted to, and I decided not to. So, but
The forest has some
I found
deep,
this feeling. I found this feeling. No, it was more like
oh, up there. Yeah.
coming from up there. But I think that's what I to come back to. So when it opened up, and also when I started hearing people speak light language and stuff, I also sometimes felt, and maybe it's also that it's an opening up, but I also felt that I would rather go straight to source, you know, rather
Hmm.
go straight, like yeah,
Yeah.
straight there.
Yeah.
But
No,
yeah,
no people in the middle. Yeah.
something like that. Yeah, and I feel pretty. I really feel pretty. I feel connected to Andromeda,
Yeah.
and like the other galaxy. So I feel what I feel what I think is so beautiful. So I very much understand how we would communicate there. So that I would be like intense. It's interesting because now it's really going to. So it would be we would just communicate directly through telepathy, and like with our hands things would light up and stuff, and we would be very transparent, looking very transparent. And I don't know, it just yeah, that feels like a very beautiful place.
Yeah. I just got that. When you connected there, I heard a tone. I still hear it, and I could feel what you're trying to say.
Yeah,
I could feel the connection that you're having with Andromeda.
thanks. Yeah,
Have
yeah.
you had any incidents or anything happen that, like, is it just a feeling you just know Andromeda?
I've 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 read something about it. I have had uh, lately I came across someone who did I think QHHD, or like a
Yeah.
hypnosis session with someone else, and I of course I don't come across that for no reason. So, and that felt really fitting. It was also about Andromeda and about all yeah, different kinds of other planets where this person had incarnated as well. So but yeah, I sometimes so of course I do have those, yes, I do have those experiences, but it I think in dream time a lot, or when I'm connecting to people.
Hmm.
So 2 days ago or something, it was also very beautiful. It's also connected in a way. So the Elven, and I saw this, that was with when, no, it doesn't matter, but this was like a very light blue white kind of energy, and it was like a crystal, and then a white light blue person also with pointed ears and stuff. Yeah.
Well,
And I also
did they give you a message?
no, but I maybe should ask, because I'm also a bit stubborn sometimes, and I'm a bit like, yeah.
I
So
think most of us are stubborn. I think that's why we got chosen.
yeah, it's nice as well. Yeah. I think, no, what I heard, but what I heard 1.5 weeks ago is that you're not able to be corrupted. That's what I heard, and I'm not sure if that's true. I'm not sure if that's true, because I'm not going to say that I really have complicated things inside as well, and parts that I'm like, what what's
We
that?
all do. We all do.
Yeah, definitely. And but what I want to say is that when I do things that are going against, I really get sick, or I get, I feel super bad and stuff. And I'm not always able or daring enough to like discern which way to go and which way not. So, yeah, and these things, what you're saying. So, I came here last year when Corona. So I lived in a very big city, and Corona was flaring up, and I felt this anxiety in the air. And well, with a whole pretty long process, I came living here. And the interesting thing was that then at some point I got these insights that I was armed, like I was here in a kind of army. So and I also heard that our real army has like a basis here. And then I met all kinds of people, that men that I'm not sure are really
Human?
no open to these experiences, but they had worked in the army and stuff. But I'm not sure. And now I feel like now it's like the cards are so the cards are continuously shuffled,
Yeah.
That's
but that's interesting, what you're saying, because I think there's a lot more going on than what we're told in general. I think there's a lot more things happening, both from humans and from extraterrestrial, star family. And I think part of what's happening, people talk about disclosure and conspiracy, and but I just feel like what I've always felt is that everything's going to be revealed, every single thing. And it feels like it's really starting to happen now. To me, it does. Not through like worldwide events, but through personal experiences like what you're experiencing.
Yeah. That I believe that. I believe that too. And I also see. So I feel like in the Netherlands we have a lot of people that are open and are discussing things like this. So that's very interesting. And I also feel. So I have a friend. So I have a friend as well that I speak a lot about these things, and she had a bit of similar experiences. She's, by the way, writing a book on psychiatry and the way it treats these kinds of experiences. So that's really really cool as well. So these kinds of initiatives as well. So and what I also feel is that in all kinds of different systems, so also the schooling system, there are all kinds of people that are opening their eyes to what doesn't work. Interestingly, I had a client that was pretty harmed also by our schooling system, whilst our schooling system is maybe even not, you can't compare it to what it was like when our parents were young. It was far more strict back then, but like this very and I don't even want to discriminate sensitive people from dissensitive people, because I don't know that. But for this sensitive young girl, it was like having to work for things that didn't come from the inside out was really super hard, and really also skewing and traumatizing as well, in the way that she like really had to work super hard for school. And I don't know, I can't really well, I don't know, but
You got it.
So but I think there are more people that are seeing that it just that doesn't work, and maybe that's even the biggest pain, from a lot of people, where they had to convert from their who they are on the inside. It's super painful.
They had to, yeah, but they try to be normal.
Yeah.
Which trying to be normal is abnormal.
Yeah.
So I think a lot of us are finding our real normal.
Yeah.
The natural, the normal. Yeah. And but how did you do it? I mean, obviously you've had to overcome a lot of things. Well, what would you say helped you the most to transform?
I feel that I'm really in it. That's what I feel. That's what I feel. So the interesting thing was that coming on here today was a really good experience for me. So I have been a bit protective of myself too, because with these energies and a bit like, but I'm also someone that what I feel I super much like to exchange and so
let's do it. Let's do it.
It's awesome. And I also felt like the momentum that I brought to my day and my days before, and also what happened inside, because I felt like, okay, this feels good. I'm gonna do this. So that's really, yeah. So this is part of it.
How do you connect with a client?
With the clients?
Yeah, how do you connect? Okay. Like if I'm a client, how do you connect with a client?
Yeah, okay. Well, then I'm gonna ask you. You want to?
Yeah, let's see.
I always start with silence, or I always ask someone if they're okay with closing their eyes, and I would close my eyes too. Okay. And then this takes a bit of time.
It's okay. We got all the time in the world.
So then
there is no time.
It's true. That this is, and I know that, but this come back this week. Okay. So I would ask you to take your attention back from the screen to yourself.
Mm-hmm.
And just take a little time to experience, feel whatever is there. And start with taking a few deep breaths. So in through your nose and out through your mouth, and to your lower belly. Yeah, and then I will ask you to become aware of if there are any emotions, any thoughts.
I just keep seeing the color blue.
Yeah, cool.
It's everywhere.
Yeah, that's interesting. What I just felt was we're getting in bit. Sometimes we could get into the still point.
Mm-hmm.
The most beautiful place to be, I would say. Can you feel it?
Yes. You hear it?
No, you?
Yeah.
What do you hear?
The energy in my body keeps moving.
Yeah. With that, like blue, blue, electric blue.
So you take him to the silent place.
Yes, I was still a bit in stillborn. Yeah. No, and I would take it to, and then I would like ask you to just feel everything you feel.
Yeah.
And let everything, also yeah, it would be yeah. So that was what I would ask, and then sometimes I would go through your whole body with you, like starting. And that's a bit
Yeah.
of mindfulness, but just relaxing every part of your body,
Yeah.
going deeper, just relaxing your shoulders, relaxing your chest, your brain, your skull, your neck, relaxing your belly, relaxing your lower back. Taking a deep breath between, and on the out breath, just let more tension go. Relax your arms and your hands. Your buttocks, your upper legs, your lower legs. Relax your feet. Just relax your whole body. See if you can breathe in a few times from your toes to the tip of your skull. And if you could like place a hand on your heart center. So that's at the head of your heart, but then in the middle of your body. So your heart center. And see if you can feel that. So if you can feel your heart center with your hand. And if you can feel your hand with your heart center.
Mm.
And breathe through your heart a couple of times. Then I would mostly ask, so is there anything that you feel right now? Anything that asks for your attention? Anything inside your body, inside your mind?
Mm. That's good. I talk to a lot of practitioners, but I like the way that you're going into the body.
Yeah.
You're not going out here. You're going into the body.
Yeah.
And you're having a conversation with the body.
Yeah.
Because the body has all the information.
Yeah, that's true.
Right? Yeah. I mean, I'm sure people do it this way, but I've never heard of this, but it makes total sense because this year, more than anything,
that's
from what I picked up, everybody's talking about the body coming online. So you actually just go into the body and journey through the body, really, right? I mean, get the person in touch with their own body. Do you see things during these sessions, like
not anymore,
or sense things?
I do sense things. I don't really sometimes. So last year, I think, so that's what I also felt. Last year was like super many impressions and seeing things and just like, whoa, also a bit much because I think for my body, and this year has been, for me, this year has been also for me, like it's been quieting down, and it's sometimes even become a bit empty, which sometimes frightened me a bit, but it has also been more, more coming just here again. And your question was?
Well, I mean, like, do you, like some practitioners that I talk to, they'll sense things or see things, but yours seems to be, which I really like. You're asking the person, what are they feeling? Let's go to this part of your body. Let's go to this part of your body. I mean, that's pretty good stuff. I mean, that's a good way. I think anybody could do that for themselves, right? I mean,
I think people do that for themselves as well.
because I don't think, I mean, for me, I don't really feel that I could hear my body like I can this year. Like this year, I can hear my body.
Yeah,
I
that's
can,
interesting, right? Yeah.
yeah, I can feel my body telling me yes, no. You know, I've gotten rid of some habits. I'm drinking a lot of, like 80% of my diet's organic juice.
Okay.
There's just like, and there just seems to be like a reformation, like a reset of the body or a
Yeah.
regeneration or something. Are you feeling anything like that?
Yeah,
Are you noticing any?
definitely. Yes, also with eating, so I don't eat gluten anymore,
Mhm.
and mm, mm, not too much added sugars, no dairy, things like that, and that helps. I still smoke, by the way. I
I do
had
too a little bit.
I tried to quit last week,
I
but
do too a little bit. I'm not
oh
going
my
to deny
god.
it. I mean,
Yeah, but I feel it like on my liver. It's just super toxic, you know. I feel it, but I also like it, so it's a bit of my but I felt it last week when I wind off a bit, or when I I felt yeah, it was different. So I really feel my body is asking me to get rid of a lot of
yeah,
toxins. And I
yeah.
would say that I sometimes, so last year I got a lot of seeing things with people, and now, and I do feel, so sometimes I feel like, and then I feel like, this has something to do with with them, their father, and the father of their father, and that came through that. So sometimes I have those insights
Hmm.
when we get into the body. That's interesting. I always check it, by the way, because yeah.
Do you
And
find that the person you're working with, do they tap into things too? Like, do they discover things?
yeah, yeah. So it differs, but I have it differs. There's also someone I'm working with, and last time it's interesting because it happened with us as well. The video didn't work, and that even more helped her, I guess, to stay with her. And she's really going really deep in her body and really like releasing um, sadness, and that's a really nice way of working, because then I ask her something and then she gives something back, and then it's really like
Hmm.
that exchange, in a way.
Sounds like every one of them's different.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, and at the same time, with most of them, I feel this soft energy. It's like a gentle energy, um, which I like to work with as well. So
Incorruptible.
maybe maybe
Incorruptible.
incorruptible. Yeah, you're trained to be incorruptible because
But yeah, when you said that though, I got that. I get that.
Mm,
Like the true us is incorruptible. I mean, it's
yeah,
these. Well, I almost want to say like these characters that we're playing, but I don't feel like we're just down here playing. There's a purpose to it, I guess, to grow the soul, you know, to expand the experience. I think what you said about, you know, the resistance, not resisting, uh, listening to ourselves, doing these things, these crazy things that we're being told to do, that we do,
yeah.
that
Not always, but
I think
mostly.
but I think there's more people doing it than we
Have you?
think.
So one thing is interesting to tell, because last year I had a lot of communication, and I also felt that I had these initiations going on the whole time, and that I got like so tired, and also I felt this. Um, but there was one moment that I was working in the forest, and also I wasn't allowed to live here, and I was feeling that I was told that I was invincible, so that I was taken care of here, and I trusted that. But there were also other things asked from me, some attachments to release, and I like, I think my smaller part didn't want to go there yet, or wasn't ready to go there yet, or didn't want to. Maybe. So one time I walked in the forest with my dog, and I was really like, "Fuck you, just fuck you! I'm going to like quit this. You know, it's just, and I'm done. I'm done." And then I came driving back here, and I had a letter in my mail from the from the oh my god, how do you call that?
The roof?
No, from the it's like the municipality, the government from the city, you know, like not the big government, but the rural. I forgot the name. That I couldn't live here, and that I had.
Oh, you got a
found that I
letter.
couldn't.
Okay, I got you.
Yeah. So it felt like the moment I told I'm quitting, that okay, that's okay, but then we can't work for you. So then the normal stream of like the
the 3D
3D things is just going to
So obviously you got to stay. So you're still invincible.
Yeah, I had to go through a lot of I had people here checking on me, ringing my door and stuff. So that was also about persecution fears and stuff. So but now yeah, and then
has it calmed down? Has it calmed down now?
Yeah, because now I
now you're cooperating. The stubborn human is cooperating.
No, I told the truth. So I was being very transparent, and I stood up, and that's what they want from me. Or not they, who are they? So that's but that's what is, I think.
Well, they, the you, me, we, and it. Yeah.
Yeah, but I say they, and that's
well, I mean, that's us. I mean, it's us. But they want us to be transparent. We want ourselves to be transparent,
and to step up. So it was also this was also around my childhood, like, you know, feeling. I think there's so many layers, but because there's this story about these initiations, and it really felt that way. But there's also the little child who feels unsafe, and then there's someone bouncing the door that you can't live here, and I'm like, you know. So there's so many things happening at the same time.
But you still are.
So I'm happy that I can live here. Yeah, and I feel better right now. Yeah, and I feel So that really.
So this is my takeaway. So that being transparent and stepping up. This is what's happening.
Yeah.
And it is, there are many layers. Yeah. But that's what I got from you today. You know, being transparent, stepping up. But there's but you're right. There's a lot of layers. And how do you be transparent, you know, and how do you stand up and be transparent and be in the higher frequency and not do it like from the lower frequency or the lower vibration that we've been used to, like go protest and go march. And I'm not saying that's not right, but it's really that internal thing that you were talking about. It's that big me, little me conversation. Because the little me saying, I don't want to do this. And we've all had the conversations with the universe, and we say, fuck this. You know, we all do. I've had plenty. Even this year, I probably had 12 or 15 of them. But you know, what's interesting is anytime that happens, something always happens. Like somebody puts a letter on the door and says, you got to leave, or something goes the other way. Like somebody sends you, you know, $200 and like, oh God, now I can pay my bill, you know. But
but there's such in that way, there are such deep things to work through as well, like around trust and around, you know, that's and at the same time not, because sometimes when you're in that high frequency, it's just, you know, you don't have to work that hard on all these patterns and things. So I think
that's where we're at, though. I think that this whole thing you said about the resistance, you know, not having any resistance. And it is trusting. But see, we trust all that up there, but we're not trusting the earth. Right. And so one's not different than the other. I mean, this is kind of where I'm at with this thing. And like with this conversation with you, is just to walk forward and trust and not be in resistance. Now, I know that sounds easy, but I think we're actually getting there. I think there's more and more people that, you know.
Yeah, and what I also feel is that these things, like now this exchange with you, and then with my friend and with other friends, and like that this is becoming more rich. So earlier I had to do more of this alone, and I think a lot of people, and now it's just more open, and I feel it's interesting because it is as if my cells open right now as well. But that's helping. So it's just the guidance is really here right now. So it's really your friend, and it's really that person that had the same, and that way we can open hard, many moments during the day, I guess.
Yeah.
Because
That's really,
working
yeah.
through this deep stuff alone, for me, sometimes it's also not always working the best. But
Yeah. I think the big programs are up now, like survival, death, physical death. I think this whole COVID thing is the best idea we ever came up with.
I told my friend today about it also, that it's triggering so many things inside of us. And the strange thing is, I'm not going to be, I feel like, because I've been in this inpatient treatment and I had this not accepting this medication, that the shock is a bit less, but I definitely feel like it is. No, I definitely know it's something else. I definitely feel that it is pushing us into our light and into unity. And still, and I'm not really sure about. I think in the core of my being, I do not believe that evil exists, and this is maybe a really strange.
I don't believe it either. I have
Yeah.
no problem. I mean, we know that's the way it is. The thing is, it's not that way here, but it's not that way here. Why? Because we don't have trust, because we believe there is something that's, saying something that is evil is just like saying, well, I'm not like that. I'm not a narcissist. Well, I have narcissistic frequencies.
Me too.
I have
and they were up also these last weeks for me, but I'm not sure. Yeah.
Well, because we're now able to see ourselves in a different way. It doesn't mean you're a narcissist. It just means you have narcissistic frequencies. I mean, the whole realm is a narcissist. The entire government is a narcissist, So
oh, sorry.
No, I'm just saying these are all projections of us, right? I mean, we're seeing this stuff outside of us to see it in us. And I know that sounds like a cliche, but it's not. I mean, if anyone can sit here and say, I do not ever act like a narcissist. I've never in my life. Go back and look what it means. We think it means this really bad person, but what it means is it's okay for me to do it, but not for you to do it. Or I'm going to hold you up to, like say these people in government, you're going to have to wear a mask, but we're not going to. You're going to have to be quarantined, but we're not going to. So there's like a separation of class type of frequency.
Hierarchy.
Like a hierarchy. That's exactly right. And so
go
ahead.
Now I want to say something, because one of the times that I tuned into the elementals here, so that was last year, and I was asking to understand hierarchy, and I was thinking, okay, but was it the elven or the fae or the gnomes now? Something like, I think it's more like fae gnome kind of like people. But they have a king. That's something I knew, and they have a king. And then I asked this king, so how does that work? Why are you a king? So I didn't understand. But he told, and I don't know, that's something that I really felt back then. That he told me that he was really serving them. It sounds a bit mundane right now, but I could really feel what that meant. I could really feel what it meant. It's something completely else. And
it's like the bees. There's a queen bee. So I get what he's saying, because everybody has a function. So it doesn't matter what that function is. It doesn't mean you're any better or worse. It just means that's your function. So, to me, this conversation has a lot of code. And so much of what's happening now isn't like it used to happen. Like, we don't talk the same. It's not just the words. It's everything. It's every little sound.
Yes.
The telepathy, the intuition, the candle in the background, the two dragon mask. I mean, there's all these little things that actually speak that we're just starting to understand.
Yeah, and one thing about evil or not evil is that I really, what I feel is that there's pretty much trauma, you know, and there's a lot of ways that that comes out in like defense mechanisms and stuff. So
Yeah, projection.
most
See,
of the
but
times, but I'm not going to say about the government because I don't know. But the most, you know, a lot of people, if they sit before you and they can trust you and they can open up, you understand where they come from, why this is happening. I haven't seen all people, but
I agree with that. I think that's what it's really coming down to is as we raise our frequency, we're able to see from more and more different perspectives.
Yeah.
You know, like just talking to you, I can get a feel for you and for the way your life has been and is, you know, and the way you see the world, so to speak. Whatever's going to happen, I don't think anybody knows, but I think it's all good. I really believe everything. In fact, I know it is. One thing I can say for sure is that since I got involved in 2012 with Soulogy, everything has always gotten better all the way around. Everything I see in my life, in Soulogy, in the world, everything is getting better and better and better and better, which is really about the individual. The world looks more distorted, but the individual transformation or expansion is happening. I'm glad you came on.
Me too.
I'm glad you came on.
Awesome.
Yeah, I really enjoyed it, and
me too.
I wish you the best. And
thank you.
Yeah, thanks. Connecting with the trees. The trees are big. To me, the trees are the biggest thing there is. That's it. The trees are awesome. To me, that says it all. That's like there, because there's a network of them all around the world. I always tap into them. I tap into them in my strongest prayers, and they always come true. They always come through as well. When I sit with the trees, it's like sitting with the elders, right? I mean, and they have all kinds of information. They have.
Do you sit with your elders? You mean like with your?
Well, I sit out here in the back with the trees. Well, I've always gone to the trees ever since I woke up.
The elders? Do you sit with your?
No.
You mean the trees are the elders?
Trees are the elders. Yeah. But I mean, like faces come through sometimes.
Yeah.
Like I don't know who they are, but like I would call them. They're just to me, the trees are everything. They're the portal. They're the Akashic. They're the like the connection to, I don't know, just everything. I can communicate to the earth or the stars through the trees. And of course
they make the connection.
Yeah. So with the earth, big time. So
I also feel that they like to be connected to. That's what I also feel. That they like to be noticed. Like
I think
because
so.
sometimes when I sometimes feel like that, like it's going to.
I'll be in my own world, and then I'll figure out. Like they'll say to me, "Hey, we've been standing here the whole time. Why don't you?" But I also found too that to treat, one thing I've learned from the trees is like to treat everything with respect. Like just because it's not a person, you don't just go do something without asking. It's no different than the way we should treat each other, you know. So look, I just, you know, and I make some offerings sometimes. I just do that, like just different things. I'll just make little offerings and stuff. But yeah.
I have a dog, but that's a whole different story. But it's the same. Like he's just so.
He's a soul.
Yeah,
he's a soul.
He's definitely a soul, and he's just it's just beautiful.
Well,
thank you.
You Djoeke. All blessings to you, and I know that everything will continue to expand for you, and keep us posted on the fairies and the elves. Maybe we'll get together next year sometime.
That would be awesome. That would be awesome.
Thank you for showing up, and thank you for doing what you're doing, and thank you for not giving up. So we'll be
Thank you
back.
also for
Yeah.
being here, and thank you for
Yeah.
sharing that story with me from the because that helped.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
You take
Beautiful.
care, and we'll see everybody a little bit later today. Bye-bye.